Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the AOC I2490VXQ. Now this is a 23.8 inch monitor that has a full HD display that runs at 60 Hz on an IPS display. It has a 16:9 aspect ratio, 4 milliseconds response time, and it has inputs of VGA, HDMI and DisplayPort inputs, and it can be found for £150. Now I haven't got buy links as of yet just because this monitor is literally brand new and off the shelf. However, you'll be able to see on Windows Central's website the series of monitors that have been also announced, which are similar in terms of design and the panel that is inside them. They're all the exact same panel apart from one which comes at a QHD display. So you've got a 23.8 inch and 27 inch models which have a non-adjustable stand like the ones I've got at £150 and £220, and then you've got the adjustable stand versions at £180 and £250 respectively. Then you've got the QHD display which has the adjustable stand and obviously a QHD display as well. So if you're looking at any of the first four models, this panel will probably be the exact same panel that you'll find in the bigger versions or the ones with an adjustable stand. So let's get into it. So for £150, what do you get? Now first of all, it's the build quality. What differentiates this monitor out of the other monitors I've seen in the market is its low bezel design. Yes, it's got a three-side frameless design, as AOC call it, and it actually looks very good. It's beautiful because it takes up less space on the desk, and it means that you're not distracted by really thick bezels on the side. So I love what AOC have done here. It's a very clean look around the sides and it makes it very thin. At the bottom you've got a very stylish bottom bezel with the AOC logo, and it's a silver base at the bottom as well. Now a silver base is actually quite rare to find, and it's nice to see it being used in a pretty budget monitor. Around the back, as I said, you've got the inputs, and other than that, the stand is only allows you to tilt backwards and forwards. You won't be able to pivot or rotate it. As I said, if you want the more expensive stand, you can pay a little bit more for that. So in terms of build quality, I have no complaints. The stand is just a little bit wobbly because of its plastic construction, which holds up the stand from the actual monitor itself. It's a little bit wobbly if you were to hit it, but other than that, it stands. The stand is quite relatively sturdy. Now, what I really like about the monitor as well is the OSD. Now, the OSD is pretty much comprehensive. You've got everything you'd expect from pretty much any other AOC monitor, but at this budget line I like the fact that AOC have also included all the options that you go through. Now I just want to show you what I've got. I've got brightness as at 100, contrast at default at 50, I've got overdrive, which I'll get into in just a bit, and I've got its color setup. I think I've just missed it. Yeah, color setup as user, red at 48, green as 50 and blue at 51. That's what I found personally looking at the monitor to get the best colors. Now the OSD is accessed by a small little joystick button found on the right hand side of the monitor. Very easy to use, and I love the fact that it's a small little joystick button. Means that it's a lot more intuitive than physical or touchscreen buttons. So great job AOC again for the design of that. Now let's talk about its panel quality. Now it's an IPS panel, which means that viewing angles are actually quite good. It's got matte layer coating on it so you don't get sort of reflections. However, with that in mind, I did find the colors still to be a little bit off point. Even though I've done a little user calibration there, and even in sRGB mode, when I was just eyeballing it and looking through different images, I felt that the IPS panel did a good job, but not a fantastic job. So it is a very good panel given the fact of it's only £150, but I still expected just a little bit more. On the plus side, if you compare it to a TN panel, which can be found pretty much for the same ish price, in this image specifically, you've got really deep blacks by the ship over here and deep blacks at the top right, with a beautiful white over here, white point by the fireworks where they're exploding. So it's really nice in comparison to a TN panel. In this image, for example, you've got really vivid greens coming out with the road, and the colors and the contrast ratio is fantastic. Something that you wouldn't get from a TN panel, no matter how hard you try to calibrate it. However, comparing it to other IPS panels, and when I say other IPS panel, I mean more expensive IPS and PLS panels, I felt that this monitor was slightly, a little bit off in terms of its color reproductions. It felt that something was just not quite right. Nevertheless, it is very close, and I'm comparing it to £400 plus monitors. So in fairness to it, for £150, I shouldn't really have that many complaints. And especially in comparison to TN panels around that price, it definitely smashes them out, smashes out the court. So really good in terms of its color for its price. But just remember what I said about its colors. Now, in terms of its responsiveness, now I did test it, and yes, you can overclock it, and I know most people will be like, why would you be overclocking it? Well, just in case you're a gamer of sorts, it does overclock to 75 Hz, and I have overclocked it, and it does work at 75 Hz. That is the maximum refresh rate that you can get from the monitor. So 75 Hz works flawlessly, and I didn't notice any sort of noticeable gamma shift. When it came to gaming, I wouldn't suggest it as a monitor for gaming. It is not intended for a monitor for gaming, but if you want to play some casual games or some MMORPGs or an RTS game which doesn't require like a fast response time, then the monitor will be perfectly suitable for that. Just remember, it's a 60 Hz panel. Don't expect any sort of gaming performance. In terms of input lag and its response time, boosted it down with the overdrive. Did notice a little bit of inverse ghosting when boosting up to the more stronger settings. However, it is still acceptable for a monitor of its class and of its purpose. So if you want to game on it, yes, casually game on it. Make sure you go through the settings, especially for overdrive settings. But other than that, don't expect the world from it. Now, what do I think of the monitor? In all honesty, at its price range, and given the fact that what it is intended for an IPS panel that looks beautiful and is on your desk, yes, it's a little bit more expensive than some other IPS panels you can find out there in the market, but they're not as beautifully built as this monitor, and in all honesty, in terms of panel quality, they're pretty identical. So in all honesty, if you want something a little bit cheaper, you can do so, but remember, you're going to get really ugly bezels. If you want to invest just that little bit more and get this monitor, then I would definitely suggest it. It's a good monitor for what it's intended for, and if you're looking for a under £150 IPS monitor that looks beautiful on the desk and doesn't take too much space, then this monitor is what you should go for. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below of what you think of this monitor or other monitors out there. And more than anything, favourite and share, as it always helps the channel grow. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye bye.